What's good, everybody? This is Mr. Composition MC that writes fiction, and we're back at it with a Black Clover Chapter 313 review. And the translations changes things, I personally think. So let's go ahead and go through this. Now, before we do, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe and notification bell. And if you want to support me directly, you can get my manga, the Most Random Manga Ever. This is the first cannabis-themed manga comic. So make sure to check that out. And my new single, Invincible Summer. So let's go ahead and dive into this. So chapter 313 is the Captain of the Black Bull. So basically what ends up going on is we start off with, basically going through Yami's past. He gets his grimoire. He's hearing as far as what people are saying, dark magic, how ghastly, what a repulsive magic. Foreigners really are ominous beings, don't go near him. So he was just chilling in the cut and abandoned building and whatnot, just, chilling with his grimoire. Then, he meets Julius, who's the first person to ever, look at him and his magic as something, fascinating. And this is, of course, when he invites him to join his brigade. Then we have as far as his introduction to Morgan and Nock. Now, what's interesting is in the translated versions, Nock says, "That's one evil looking face you got. Just so you know, you don't scare me at all." Got it? And I think that the context is very, very important. That's why it was important to wait for the officials to come out, so that way, I can formulate based on what the author approved, basically. So we also get Yami going to the different, captains, and the one that's super interesting, again, which changes things from the fan translation, is Nozel. For a lowly foreigner, you aren't bad! Exclamation mark. So again, for me, I think that puts things into context, that there was, especially between Nozel and Yami, there's always this kind of like, Yami's always teasing him and everything like that. But Nozel, and we've seen it as far as within this arc, and what Nozel said at the end when Majikula was defeated, we gotta save Captain Yami. So I think that it's important to know that Nozel does and has had, some sort of respect for Yami. Now, we get as far as fast forward, Morgan and Yami are, chilling in the cut, and Yami's just having this realization, being part of a brigade lets you meet so many, different magic knights. It's really energizing. And it's all like, compared to them, my ghastly magic looks cute. And then Morgan says something very important, which I feel like is going to be something in regards to future chapters. Morgan says, even the most fearsome magic is defined by the person who uses it. And Yami goes on to be like, you'll be a great leader, and Morgan's just like, nah, like that's you. Yami's just like, nah, you're the type of guy who leads other people, and it. Then there's a transition as far as to, Morgan's grave, Nock sitting there, and Yami then telling him that he's gonna make his own squad. And something else that was very important is what Yami thinks about what Morgan says, which is, I hate to admit it, but I think you understand my brother's feelings better than I do, Yami. And we know how much Nock loves Morgan. So even though Noct says a couple of different, things, there's a reason why Noct is a part of Yami's squad. And when I really sit there and think about it, not saying that it couldn't happen, but honestly, when I really think about more of the details between Noct and Yami's relationship, I think it was purposely made for us to think Noct was suspicious. But when I really sit there and look at Noct and Yami's relationship, it's probably a lot better than we even think, honestly. It's just both Yami and Noct's personalities are a trip, like even Morgan says in the official translation, he tells Yami, like, even if you're blunt, like, and that part is done completely different than the other text, Now, Yami goes on to tell Noct, the ones destiny didn't choose, the ones who got chained down, the lost ones, the ones burdened with crimes, a brigade where people who haven't been able to wield the power they've got can rampage around. And he was just like, I gotta get stronger as well so I can keep those idiots together. And then we get this really cool, like, 2-page where it has, like, literally Yami and every single member and how they're recruited. And it's funny because Noct was the first one, honestly. It was Noct, and then we get everyone else, all the way to Nero. So that was funny. And the ones that we haven't really seen, we haven't seen Charmy, which Charmy's is hilarious. I'm just all like, yo, that one is so freaking funny. And then on top of that, we get, everybody else. We haven't seen Finrose, which was super dope. We hadn't seen Grays, which was interesting. I don't think we've seen Gordon either. So I think all of that is for very particular reasons, and then we have, as far as the Black Bull's base within that silhouette, and that's very interesting, and Yami goes on to have this realization that the one who ended up finding a place to belong might actually have been me. And we see, as far as what Yami says, and he says, live however you want. Now, there's people that are torn between this. They're just all like, honestly, if he hadn't said anything, it would have been more impactful, because it's like saying so much without saying nothing at all. And I can see where people are coming from with that. I think that it was telling as far as Yami's character, his real character, and obviously him feeling like this possibly is gonna be it. And even with that realization, like, he was just all like, basically, y'all don't have to come for me, live the way you want, I'll understand, and things like that. But I mean, he really came to that realization that, hey guys, this is, y'all gave me a home, like, thank you, and then we get as far as the shift to, Yami thinking back to when he gained consciousness after being captured by Zenon, and Morris is just like, dark magic, magnificent, the power of the underworld dwells in your magic. When darkness dies, the world tree black will be able to link this world and the underworld. You are the chosen one. Death, despair, darkness, you'll bring them all into this world. Now, in the fans' translations, we were wondering what was said, and I don't know if anyone, talked about this. I saw a couple of reviews, but before this wasn't translated, but there was several different bubbles, and some speculated it might have been like a devil or something like that. but these bubbles are actually each one of the Black Bull members saying something during that time, as far as either they're saying it in front of Yami, or this is just stuff that Yami has heard them say. But there's a couple of like, thank you for not being scared of me. I can't beat the enemy, but at this point, I am a winner who can save his friends and brother. That's probably Finral. I survived and met lots of friends. We can't live however we want in a world without you in it. Oh, okay, so yeah, live the way you want is what he told them, and then, you know, one of them responded, we can't live however we want in a world without you. And then they're pretty small. Like, there's one where I think Charmy says something like, you know, we gotta get you some fruit or whatever, and then we see Captain Yami start to open his eyes, and then them screaming, Captain Yami. He opens his eyes, and then he sees the Black Bull base, you know, in front of him, you know, and we see Morris laid out. Now, some people are just all like, you know, kind of torn, because Morris was built up, you know, this whole time, and for him to be, you know, knocked out like that, for me, I'm okay with it because of what's probably to come. I don't jump to conclusions as far as like, because certain things play out. I know you want every episode, every, you know, chapter to just be this, you know, thing that includes everything, but that's not how storytelling works. You know, and there's reasons for why things were put the way they did. And to be fair, Morris is not a fighter like that. He is a scientist who just only recently apparently got Lucifero's power. So of course he's not gonna be super, you know, powerful with that. On top of that, you got 2 arcane stage mages, and you have a bunch of other mages. It would have been a testimony for, honestly, I would have been more mad if Morris had beat all of them. You know, like, that would have been more crazy than the fact that you have multiple freaking people who are going against him, you know. So anyways, then we get as far as Yami coming more to, and him busting out laughing, and he's all like, what, you people like me that much? And they're all like, yes sir, we love you, you know. And I thought that was like super freaking amazing. Like, that panel's so dope. And then we get Yami just have like this smile of just like, you know what? He's all like, well, it's mutual, you idiots. And then, okay, see, now this is the next thing that the official translations changed the context. And I was kind of thinking that this is more so what he was going to be saying than what the fan translation, because the fan translation made Noct very, very suspicious. This doesn't make me suspicious. This, what he actually says on the official translations, goes more to what I was saying as far as his relationship with Yami. He goes on at the very top and he's all like, you're all extremely reckless, but you have my respect, period. Like, you know, that was it. That was it. And I think that is more in line considering what he has seen, because he did go in there and he's just all like, you ain't shit, you're a whore, you're this, you're that. And then they was just all like, who are you? I can only imagine them sitting there just all like, yo, our captain just got freaking kidnapped and there's nothing that we can sit up there and do. And then this random person comes in and is just like, yo, what up, sons and daughters? I'm the vice captain of the Black Bulls. I've been watching y'all the whole time. You ain't this, you ain't that. They're like, and so for him to witness, because, you know, him being able to witness, you know, Maga go in there and defeat Dante. Like, what? You know, he's been able to catch an eye on everything. And honestly, the Black Bulls are the straight up MVPs of this arc. Like, if you think about how much the Black Bulls came through and assisted and straight up demolished the Dark Triad, yo, shout out to them. But, and another thing, people were just all like, well, why did it not help or whatever? It would have been an overkill. They're like, at some point, you have to realize whether it was necessary or not. You're talking about people who just went against the Dark Triad and was able to do some other stuff, and that was with them individually, let alone them coming out the trunk on, you know, with some power-ups and everything like that. Like, come on. There was no need. So him being able to be up there like that is perfectly fine. You know, now again, fan translations versus official translations. Before, it was saying long overdue reunion, however. But in the official translations, it does not say that. Now, it does show as far as what looks like to be the next gate opening. And that's where it ends. So I want to say there's no break. So we're gonna get chapter 314, and I want to say that will actually be the end of the volume. You know, so it's gonna be something big. Now, this chapter, the official translations, I feel like changes a lot. For me, it does now make me not think that Noct is suspicious. It also makes me think that with the official translations, now some people with the official translations, they honestly thought like, okay, now there's definite Yami death flags. But honestly, with the official translations, I actually feel the opposite. I actually don't feel like Yami's gonna die now. Like, I think that before, it was just all like, oh man, like they're gonna kill him. But now, honestly, I don't think so. I think that would be completely, you know, there's certain things that I'm just all like, I mean, if you want to go there, you could, like, you know, I think that, you know, if he's got to be consistent, he's got to, like, the story's got to grow, but there's got to be, I feel like, a consistency in the way that the storytelling goes. So for it to be like that evil, as far as, and I mean, it could be, but as far as to show this and then, you know, have Yami come to and then straight up yank him away, you know, like, I don't think so. Now, what does this look like for everything? Now, everyone at this point does not realize that the second gate's about to open. Now, I feel like there's a reason why Yuki Tabata has left the William the way that he did. Because we have to take into consideration that obviously the cliff off is either weakened or something because Yami's, you know, come into consciousness. You know, Now, before, I don't know if it was because him sensing that his people was there, because the chapter prior or whatever, there was a twitch, you know, so it's like he heard them and sensed them and started to come to be. But I don't know if that was in combination of them beating up Morris and it getting weakened, but Morris is knocked out and the second gate is opening still. So we don't know. Now, as far as next chapter, I feel like we're going to get some of the other characters coming in, because this is why I don't think Yami's going to die. We have to take into consideration that though Lucifero is going to be super, super powerful, one, there's a possibility that that's not even the real Lucifero that's coming out. Now, that would be very, very interesting. The other thing is how many people are going to be there. For one, we have all of the Black Bulls are there. So I think that there's a reason for that. Like all of them, from the captain to the vice captain to all the members are there. There's nobody missing. Then we also have to take into consideration that Langrish and Yuno should be coming, and those are honestly the most powerful people in the Golden Dawn. And they're going to be coming for William. Then we have to take into consideration that there's still Real and Charlotte, Mimosa, Gaja, the Heart Queen. And then that's not including Marileona, that's not including Fergolion, that's not including Sally and the other ones, that's not including Patri and the Elves. You know, so not saying it's gonna not be a crazy fight and some stuff is gonna go down, but I feel like this next chapter we're gonna get some crazy reveals. We're gonna see possibly a connection with Julius in all of this, and or we're gonna get basically like William's, you know, thing coming into this, and you know, and Langer's coming in. So let me know what y'all think. This was a kind of long one, you know. I just had several thoughts on it, but anyways, this is Mr. Composition MC that writes fiction. Let me know y'all's thoughts in the comments. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to hit that notification bell. All interactions helps with the YouTube algorithm. So I appreciate y'all. And like I said, make sure to cop my manga, The Most Random Manga Ever. But yeah, guys. Mr. Composition MC that writes fiction. Peace.
The darkness, turn the galaxy into my office. Translating thoughts into deep science. Got the sun in my pocket, building resilience. So when the next winter cycle comes, I prepare with no losses. The work of the soloist's a boss. At the